Ethan, you have to do an introduction. What's happening?
What's going on? I'm the camera guy, and my name's Ethan. We're gonna ask Mike some questions today. See if we can catch him off guard.
All right, that's a good way to put it, Ethan. Good to be back. It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean.
You guys have had a long time to get these questions going.
I know I kept just kicking out these meetings. I was nervous, but we finally got on the schedule today.
Yes, exactly. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Position names, just to make sure everybody,
Yep.
people in Tel Aviv, they may not know you.
Dave Mareiro, Director of Ops. I think many of you know me as Diamond. My real name is Dave.
Diamond Dave works. Lots of diamonds in the desert.
I'm Stacey Mehringer. I work on systems. All
Run
systems
marathons,
here.
swim all the time.
I did one.
Okay.
I did
A
one.
little painful.
I'm done.
Okay. So you're done.
I said one and done.
You're done for 7 years, in my experience, and then 7 years later, you actually get the itch again.
Probably not.
Fair
But
point. All right, let's get to the
we'll
question.
see.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll kick it off.
Wow, Dave's letting you go first.
Yes.
She
Okay.
has better questions.
Ladies
Okay, here we go.
first.
Good.
What is one thing that you would never do again?
Wow, at work or in general?
General question. Take it however you'd like.
Wow, we're getting right into it. I'd like to think I'd never go work for a big company again.
Okay.
I love the idea of building a big company, and I actually heard a story this week from someone that's at like Emerson Electric, one of these big Fortune 50 companies, and his son's there, and he was joking around like, no one knows when he shows up, no one knows when he leaves. He tried to organize a gathering, because they're Irish, to go out for drinks for people in the office, and people look at him like he was crazy, and they have no idea who they are. So
Oh my gosh.
after having been fortunate enough to be at two smaller companies, Rapid7 and now Observe It, I just can't imagine walking back into a 5,000 person company that's anonymous and people don't know each other.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, just to dovetail on that a bit, given that was your answer, would if something grew to be 5,000, that'd be just a place you wouldn't want to be? That you built?
Yeah, good question. I don't know because I haven't done it.
Yeah.
I like to think that I would want to be there because I'd like to think that we'd hold on to the culture and the sort of sense or the environment that got us there. It was funny, I was talking to Deepak, one of our board members this morning at breakfast, and he was at a conference down in New York, and they were analyzing publicly traded companies that had done really well and their focus on culture. Now, I'm not sure exactly how they measured focus on culture, but there was this disproportionate value that went to companies that cared about culture. And I don't think you see old world companies like that, but you do see some new world ones. You know, like Palo Alto has done a pretty good job from what I've seen. I mean, I don't know how many thousand employees they are now, but they started out small and they've still got a pretty good culture, obviously the Googles of the world. So the new age companies, I think, can get big and can maintain. Netflix, there's a bunch like that, can get big and can maintain a good culture. So I'd like to think that, you know, if we're ever so fortunate to grow to that size, I'd want to stay.
Okay. A little bit of a segue from this, but more of what would you do differently or is your next step? You've told me previously that you were running the pizza shop at Princeton.
Yeah.
You've obviously played in the NHL.
Yeah.
You transferred over to technology. Have been working companies, running companies. If you were to have another career pivot of some kind, what do you think that would be? Why?
Yeah. It's the same answer as the first question, meaning I was at PTC for, I think it was 12 years. It was 12 years. I would never have been at PTC for 12 years. Now, I had 4 or 5 different jobs there and really good experiences, and the second last one was living in Europe for 4 years. So I would never trade being an expat and taking my family to a different culture and really internalizing what it feels like to be part of a different culture. I would never trade that again. I was gonna say, maybe I'd get that experience earlier in my life if I could, but I don't wanna say the first 8 of my 12 years at PTC, the last 4 being friends, the first 8 were a waste of time because I met good people, I got different experiences, but I wouldn't have been part of an organization that size for that long.
Okay, but so that's more of what's next or something different, like you want to go run a winery or do something like it sounds like you've got different pivots along the way.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I really enjoyed teaching, and one of the best professors I ever had at business school, Carl Sloan, had been on the operating side for 20 or 30 years. And I remember he was teaching this class, and it was about a company that had to downsize or something, and the students being like, well, I'd let go of 30% of the people, and then we'd, increase operating income, blah, blah, blah. And he walked up to them, and he was like, you mean you go to a father of 4 kids and tell them that his only job is going on? You'd be like, fuck you, you gotta get out of here right then. He's like, no bloody chance, right? So he brought this sense of reality to business school, and I think people are very impressionable in business school. So, and I've done some teaching at different times, but I would like to do some of that, because it's a good way to share experiences, tell stories, and hopefully help people in what they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. What was the last book you read?
So I discovered this week for the first time, so I'm generally not good at reading books. I'm a little impatient, and at the end of the day, I read 2 pages and I'm asleep.
Okay.
So reading 2 pages at a time, you don't get through too many books.
Not too many.
But this week, I discovered audiobooks.
Okay.
I mean, they've been out for 15 years. I'm glad I discovered it now. But I tried it, and at first I was thinking to myself, I won't really be able to pay attention. I won't be able to underline it and check things that I want to go back at, which you never go back and look at anyways. But I started doing it, and it's a book called Play Bigger.
Okay.
And it's all around defining a category, whether it be an Uber or an AWS or a Slack or whatever. So I'm maybe about a third of the way through that, and it's pretty inspiring. And it speaks to, it's easy to look backwards and be like, Google did great, they redefined search, that's all simple. But it talks about some of the core reasons why companies grow faster now. And what stuck in my mind is so first of all, there's so much noise out there because of social media. Obviously the back end, you can grow a company more quickly and you can launch based on hosting in the cloud and all that's faster. But what I hadn't really thought about is there's so much information out there and noise out there that no one really likes confusion. So if all of a sudden you grab onto something that feels like the leader, that's actually quite comforting.
Yeah.
And we're wired as human beings, that pack mentality, to be with the pack. And if you're not with the pack, you feel like you might get picked off and killed, is like a fundamental instinct in people. And in today's world, when there's so much noise and so much going around, that all of a sudden if you feel you're with the pack leader, then all of a sudden that becomes the leader, which reinforces it even more. So Play Bigger has been an audiobook that I've been going on. And then I read the sort of that greatness guide that John Quinn recommended to me when I was on narcotics recovering from my hip surgery. That was pretty good.
Do you remember reading that?
I do, yeah, I do.
Didn't know if the narcotics skewed.
Yeah,
How much?
and I've been looking for a good fiction book. I love fiction, and I don't read it enough. So if anyone has any good fiction books, I'm wide open to suggestions.
I might.
Okay.
Bit of a personality question.
Okay. You know my personality, Dave.
Yeah. And,
What don't you know?
well, I was going to say, and I would characterize you as a competitive person.
Okay.
Would you say, which one characterizes you more? Do you hate to lose or you love to win more?
Yeah, good question. I would say love to win, in that I don't know. I'll add a C. So A is hate to lose. B is love to win. C is make sure you feel like you left it all out there. And that actually is what drives me a lot, in that I never want to look back and be like, oh, if I trained harder, or if I'd taken that chance, or I'd taken that risk, or worked harder, whatever, that could have happened. Because there's a ton of luck in everything. And a lot of these category companies that have killed it, and people that have thought of these ideas, we're just lucky. And there's so much luck in business, and there's so much luck in life, and there's so much luck in sports. So sometimes you're gonna lose. And that that's okay if number C or option C, like you left it all out there. And, you know, my next choice would be winning. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I'm actually thinking about it because I can remember all the losses. I can remember them all. In things in my life, and as long as I didn't have regrets on the loss, like it's the way it went. And even when you perform badly for whatever reason, like you have an annual golf outing with my buddies, and years ago, it's 2 right-handed golfers versus 2 left-handed golfers. We won like 6 years in a row, the righties, which I am, and like for some stupid reason, I did bench press before the annual competition. I hadn't done bench press in like 8 years. Couldn't move the next day. You know what I mean?
Solo or somebody put you up to it?
Solo, like my family was away, I had nothing to do, so I worked out or whatever. Like I couldn't move the next day. Like we got smoked. And like, did I hate losing that day? Yeah, but it was just because I was stupid, right? And like I got over it. And even when like I can think about hockey games and squash matches and like a marathon, like my Berlin, I blew up in Berlin because I walked around the whole day before and I had a bad pace because I ignored my heart rate monitor. But like, that happens. It wasn't because I didn't try hard, work hard, train hard, want to win. It was just sometimes you get unlucky, sometimes you're stupid, sometimes you lose.
Hating to lose, leaving it all out there, sometimes you lose. When's the next dare challenge?
Darn Dave, I walked up today. Good question. Before July 1st. I have to get to a PT to make sure that's not what's like slowing my hip recovery. So my question to you is, because if we've been going head to head, I would have beat you.
Yeah, should we start at the same time?
That's what I'm asking, yeah, because we were staggered start last time, so I didn't know where my competition was. So when you beat me by 0.5 seconds, maybe it was 10 seconds.
I'll go look at the picture. I think
Okay.
more than both.
That's because like, you were just cruising. I was also coming back from Tel Aviv. Bad excuse here.
There's some
But here we go.
excuses.
I was coming back from Tel Aviv, and at like floor 18, my mouth was chopped. I had nothing, and my head was pounding, but I was still going to leave it all out there.
So
And I still finished 3rd out of 4, and we only had 4 people that showed up after like 15 people signed up.
Now, I will say it's all relative in the sense of you didn't know where I was, so you probably would have thought you would have kind of turned it up a notch if I was next to you. I had no clue where you were, so I likely would have done the same. We probably still would have ended at the same actual relative positions.
Maybe.
Meaning me beating you.
Maybe. No, maybe.
Those are a lot-
But
those are a
that's
lot
why
of
we gotta do it again.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
we've
there's a lot
never
of
been
assumptions.
head-to-head in competition.
Yeah.
So maybe.
A
Okay.
lot of
It's
assumptions.
the only one way to find out.
We'll get there
Okay.
for the end of the Q2 belt.
Yes. I do think we both would have done that faster, though, to your point.
Yep.
So.
How much time do we have, Ethan?
2 minutes.
All right.
This is a good one.
Now?
Let's end on this one.
All right, here we
Jeez.
go.
Okay.
If you could join any past or current music group,
Oh, wow.
which would you join? And then I have a follow-up.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, there's a Canadian band called the Tragically Hip. I love those guys. They were incredible, but no one's going to know them. Or not very many people are going to know them. I usually fall asleep when I watch movies.
Okay.
I don't watch very many movies.
Okay.
And I almost never watch a movie twice.
Okay.
I just watched Bohemian Rhapsody
All
for the
right.
second time
Okay.
about Queen.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a pretty cool bunch. And the fact how much they relied on each other. So like it would probably be cool. Like once again, I haven't thought about kind of gone through the list of all the bands in my head, but Queen would be way up that list
Okay.
because they all relied on each other. They all brought different skills and opinions and thoughts to the band, and they really changed music in a lot of ways. And like they tried to do. I mean, they could have gone on one of the sort. They could have like copied songs or had the same kind of theme the whole way through and done really well.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, they really tried to come up with different forms of music, and were successful in many different ways. I'm sure they failed in some ways too, but they were successful in many different ways. And in one of the ways of like involving the audience, you know, with the sort of "we will rock you."
Yeah.
I mean, like that hadn't been done that much before, I don't think. That's pretty cool.
It's certainly the most memorable kind of
But there's
sing-along.
so many elements, memorable points, and obviously there was adversity in the group, and there were different types of people in the group, and They stuck with each other. It was cool, really cool.
So you're in Queen,
I'm in Queen. I'm wearing tight leather pants and
Sure.
a white tank top.
wherever you want to go with that.
Okay.
What's your role?
Yeah.
What
wow.
what part of the band are you?
Probably like setting the stage up.
No, no, you're in the band.
No, but so
One of the four.
Yeah.
but in grade 6, one of my more humiliating moments in grade 6, Mr. Davies, I'm singing at the front of class.
You're singing.
We had to. It was like the music class, right?
Okay.
And Mr. Davies was like, Mike, can you please stop? I'm like nervous and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah. He's like, do you realize that you're tone deaf? I'm like, I knew I couldn't really sing, but I didn't really know what tone deaf means. And it's probably not a good thing though. You're telling me the whole class that I'm tone deaf. So I'm tone deaf. So singing is not very good. So I'm not Freddie Mercury. Like I'm not good at any of those things. So
Gotta pick one.
gotta pick one. I mean, I do like the idea of being a lead singer because you have the most amount of control over the audience and what they're saying and what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just really hard when I'm tone deaf and would be so bad at it to think about doing that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So would or would not be the lead singer?
I think I would be if I could sing. Yeah,
Okay.
no, if I could sing for sure. I've also always liked piano. Actually, Freddie Mercury did a great job with piano and being a lead singer as well.
So he was a
So
bass player.
yeah,
I can see McKee on the drums. Just banging
Could be,
away.
yeah. Setting the pace for everybody.
I was thinking about
Setting the pace
a
for
hockey trip
everyone.
when I was 13. It was the first time I'd ever seen drums in someone's home. And, of course I tried to play them, and like I sucked at that too. So,
Not a
didn't
big
go so
deal.
well.
This also wasn't are you good at music?
You don't
being a
need to be
musician
good
of
at it.
some
You
kind.
don't
It's more
need to
like
be
what
good
would
at
you
it.
do?
No, but it's just hard to envision
dream.
yourself, right? I can
Yeah.
envision myself teaching a class at business school, right? I can
Yes.
envision myself
Coming in second on the stairs.
coming in second on the stairs. Third.
Cause Rubes.
We were second behind Rubes.
You were second, I was
Yeah.
third.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Nago was fourth. Yeah, I can envision those things.
But you're not Mike McKee anymore.
I know,
You
but
get to
I'm still,
pick
I'm
what you
a
wanna
literal
do.
person, and if I've tried, didn't go well. Therefore, it's hard to envision.
Okay.
Okay.
But you're Freddie Mercury. If you
Uh,
had your way.
Yeah,
And wasn't tone deaf.
it wasn't time. Yeah,
We'll end
exactly.
on that.
All right.
Cool.
It's a good one.
Thanks, everyone.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Appreciate the questions.